Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, Gao Wu, letting you take pictures, you wholesale supernatural powers. Chapter 11. A girl in a blue exercise suit with a ponytail had a warm smile on her face. While asking Su Yu, she also nodded slightly to Song Qingwan. Well, give it a try. Seeing that the two seemed to know each other, Su Yu responded politely. Look at it, look at it. This kid really just gave it a try. Try to have the ability to spend your own money, why waste the money of other little girls? He has to squander all the money the little girl worked so hard to save. Hey, this kid doesn't know anyone. Su Yu closed his eyes and took a deep breath. Not angry, not angry. After the assessment, everything will be explained. The girl was also a little puzzled when she heard the voices around her. Looking at Song Qingwan, she saw that the other party was holding back a smile and shaking her head, so she didn't ask any more questions and looked at Su Yu a few more times. Immediately she came to the payment office, handed out a card and settled it quickly. Seeing this, Su Yu once again felt the discrimination from Hong Guogo. After paying the fee, the girl came to the two of them again. Song Qingwan, I didn't have a chance to meet you in the training camp last time. Now let's get to know each other again. My name is Qin Ling, and I dream of becoming a tactician like Grandmaster Ji Qing. I hope we can become teammates if we have the opportunity. I am very willing to be your tactician. Listening and listening, Su Yu suddenly realized something was wrong. Why did this girl come to poach someone in front of her? Ahem, Qing Huan and I are teammates. Qin Ling still smiled brightly, looked at Su Yu again, and she said with a smile, no problem, I can be the frontline tactician, and then you will be in charge of the rear. Su Yu was silent. His own damn weak blood was underestimated by women again. He looked at the big screen in silence, not wanting to speak anymore. Song Qingwan snickered and looked very cute. Soon, the last batch of assessment personnel ended. The number was called at the scene, and the calls came down one after another. Su Yu found that he happened to be the 10th. Hey, I'm lucky. The voice did not fall. No, 108 Qin Ling is ready for the assessment. Su Yu. He looked at the toll office. Qin Ling said apologetically, I'm sorry, I became a VIP because I often come for assessments, but I didn't expect to squeeze you into the next batch. Silence is destined to be the main theme of today. Su Yu seriously despises all rich people. Qin Ling walked towards the examination room. Song Qingwan introduced to Su Yu. She is from Tianyuan No. 1 High School Class 1, and his father is the owner of our Tianyuan City Qingtian Martial Arts Hall. Tianyuan City organized a training camp before, and she ranked 5th overall in the training camp. She has a very high talent in cultivation, and her basic skills in martial arts are also very solid, but it seems that her goal has always been a tactician. Su Yu nodded, suddenly curious about what kind of rewards he could get from Qin Ling. Qing Huan, do you think she will agree if I take pictures of her? He asked. On the side, Song Qingwan did not reply for a long time. Turning his head, Su Yu realized that the girl was bulging her cheeks and staring at her eyes, looking fierce. Cough, cough, cough. Qing Huan, listen to my explanation, I didn't shoot her to shoot her. I just want to shoot different people, and I will shoot different beasts in the future. For me, taking pictures is an observation. Every time I take a picture of a person, I will build a model in my mind, and then put him in the tactics to think about it. I don't want to take photos. Su Yu didn't know if he explained clearly. Song Qingwan's vicious little expression disappeared, and he hesitated, really? Really? Su Yu swore on the spot. On the side, the uncle who had been secretly watching the two shook his head. Hey, it's hopeless, I believe such absurd reason, love brain is not advisable. You want to eat wild vegetables. Young people nowadays are more and more able to talk nonsense. No, I have to go back and warn my daughter, but don't be deceived. For the first time, Su Yu felt that the uncle was more annoying than the aunt. Also, uncle, you have been standing here and don't need to participate in the assessment. They are all here to learn other people's tactical thinking. Every day there will be different people participating in the assessment, and it will be broadcast live on the big screen in real time. There are many people who aspire to be tacticians, and they will stay in the hall to watch others solve problems and learn. Song Qingwan explained very thoughtfully. Immediately, the little hand pinched and twisted Su Yu's waist. Su Yu, I believe in you, you can't lie to me. At that moment, her eyes were full of tears. The people watching all wished to stand up for her and teach Su Yu a lesson. Su Yu is absolutely loveless. Reassure yourself that this is really a way to practice tactics for yourself. Qing Huan, think about it carefully. If I go to the battlefield as a tactician in the future, besides the beasts, what I consider more important is whether to consider the group of people who obey my command. You also know that the reality is not like a systematic question. Everyone is the same. In reality, everyone has different personalities and habits. How can I be a good tactician if I can't understand these things in depth? Song Qingwan thought about it and nodded obediently. Su Yu continued to strike while the iron was hot. Especially for these geniuses, the general geniuses have very strange personalities, so they need to pay more attention and observe. There are enough samples in my mind, so I won't panic when I really face difficulties. In the end, those uncles who started to arrange Su Yu suddenly realized that this kid really has something. All of them pricked up their ears and listened very carefully. Qing Huan, if you know other geniuses, you can also introduce me. Su Yu raised the camera. I'll find a chance to take a group photo for you. Song Qingwan understood but didn't understand. Does it have to be a photo? Su Yu suddenly became deep. Qing Huan, geniuses are all strange. PFF'd. Someone in the hall suddenly spat out a mouthful of water. There were boos everywhere. Su Yu's face remained unchanged, while Song Qingwan accepted the setting. All right then, I'll ask you to take a photo of Qinling and me later. I'll have to keep the pictures, she added. Su Yu nodded like a chicken pecking rice. I didn't expect that. I made up a reason and opened up a new way to acquire abilities and skills. Although the uncles on the side are still pointing at him. He doesn't care too much. Gossip, it's not as important as improving strength. Looking at the big screen, he took a few glances at Qinling who was breaking through. He was surprised to find that this girl seemed to be hiding her clumsiness. In many cases, she has already solved the predicament in front of her, but she wants to try other options. It seems that passing is not the goal. It is more important to understand these problems and learn from these ever-changing battle situations. Su Yu, damn capitalist. Ah, Song Qingwan was confused. Time passed by every minute and every second. Among those who entered the assessment with Qinling, except for her, there was only one person who persisted. The man passed one or two questions very thrillingly, and the 2 battle losses were stuck at 19%. When it came to the third question, he became more nervous and hesitated for a long time every step he took. In contrast, Qinling, who also seemed extremely thrilling, was another extreme. This genius girl can't wait to make tactical changes every moment. After the whole process, there is no time to hesitate. It can be said that one idea is one idea, and one decision follows another decision. Of course, the more decisions she made, the more mistakes she made, and she encountered too many emergencies. Every time she passed dangerously and dangerously. Seeing the time approaching, the discussions in the hall gradually became louder. Hey, it's difficult for Hong Kong again this time. Time doesn't allow him to hesitate any longer. I heard that hundreds of thousands of dollars from their family have been used for his assessment. This time is no better. I guess he will give up. Hey, every time it's a little bit close, time is fate. Hey, it's fate at any time. He just doesn't have a good mentality. With such a mentality, when he really goes to the battlefield, who dares to let him be his tactician? According to me, it's better for him to give up early, so as not to mistake others and himself in the future. Some people in the hall sympathized with what happened to the man, while others expressed disdain for him. Compared with Qinling's side, everyone discussed more about tactics. In another part of the building, 3 invigilators were also watching the 2 examiners. Hong Kong is still trying his best. If he can't break the boat this time, it will be difficult in the future. It's a pity, he has the talent to become a tactician. Even if he can't be the main tactician in the future, being a deputy is enough. The 2 invigilators were discussing, while a young man on the side showed little interest. After the 2 discussed, they looked at Qinling again. Qinling, girl, she has come out with a lot of good hands today. I think she has a good chance of success this time. However, This girl's reckless temper can't continue like this. Talent is good, but as a tactician, the most important thing is to be steady. The two are evaluating. The young man on the side said, if she wants to pass, naturally she has already passed. The two invigilators looked at the young man for a moment. It's not that she can't pass, she is taking these questions to hone her tactical performance. The two suddenly realized. I said, why does this girl almost pass the test every time? So that's why. Young people are awesome. Young people are awesome. Both of them looked happy. The young man didn't say much. In a small city like Tianyuan City, the proctors are all low-level tacticians. It's normal to not be able to see the thinking behind Qin Ling. At least the two of them did not have any hypocrisy in their intention to support the younger generation. At the same time, the young man cursed the damn capitalist in his heart. I have seen rich people, but I have never seen such squandering. A 1-minute countdown begins on the lobby screen. Qin Ling was not surprised. In the final stage, the troops who chose to advance in multiple lines encountered several small strange beasts. After a chaotic battle, the battle loss ratio directly exceeded 20%. Hey, what a pity. It's almost there. I said that you can't explore the road separately. At this time, you should pack a group and run over it directly. There were sighs in the hall, and there was an afterthought. Su Yu pursed her mouth, meaning nothing. Qin Ling's assessment made him see one thing clearly. There is no need for him to deliberately challenge difficult problems like Qin Ling. He has basically anticipated all the problems before they are solved. As for those emergencies, they are all within the controllable range. Of course, he also knew that it might be a topic limited to this stage. Just when everyone is sorry. Suddenly there was cheers in the hall. Pass. Hong Kong has passed. My God, at the last moment, Hong Kong dared to lead the team back in the opposite direction. We are going to have another tactician in Tianyuan City. Amid the bustle, Hong Kong and Qin Ling came out of the examination room. Qin Ling immediately congratulated him. The others also surrounded them one by one. Together with those people who were sneering and sarcastic just now, they all walked over enthusiastically at this moment. Only Su Yu and Song Qingwan still stood where they were, without any fluctuations in their expressions. Song Qingwan looked at it and said, Su Yu, you may have to wait a little longer. It's okay, you don't have to worry about being late for a good meal. Su Yu laughed. As Song Qingwan said, because someone passed the assessment, a new batch of assessments did not start immediately. In the hall, a short tactician badge awarding ceremony was held on the spot. A bronze prismatic badge was worn on Hong Kang's chest. The tactician in charge of awarding the badges stood with him for a photo. Seeing this, Song Qingwan asked curiously, such a good opportunity, don't you want to take a photo? Su Yu shook his head. I'm only interested in geniuses. Song Qingwan didn't suspect him, and thought it made sense. When she was waiting for Qinghuan, Su Yu had already taken photos of people who turned bicycles into small planes on the road. I took 2 pictures in a row, but didn't even get a single attribute. At that time, he knew that to obtain the illustration book, he still had to catch a genius. The short ceremony is over. The hall also restarted calling numbers for assessment. This time, number 107 Su Yu finally successfully entered the examination room. Qin Ling did not leave immediately after the assessment, she came to Song Qingwan's side. I just heard about Su Yu's philosophy, and I think what he said makes sense. He and you are classmates. Song Qingwan nodded. My tactical understanding was taught by him. Oh, Qin Ling looked at the big screen, and his eyes became serious. It is rare to see peers come to the assessment. She is also curious about what level she is now among her peers. With Song Qingwan's character of not allowing strangers in the training camp, she became curious about Su Yu. In the hall, except for the group of people who were still trying to hug the newly promoted tactician thigh. The other people's goals were basically on Su Yu. Even though they laughed at Su Yu as a jerk before, they still defended Song Qingwan. But after Su Yu expressed his understanding, they still had some expectations for this little brat. Can you pass a level? I feel that there should be no problem, otherwise I wouldn't dare to take the assessment rashly. No, I think it depends on luck whether you can pass a level. Children have seen too few tactics. Even if they have a little strength and encounter situations they have never seen before, they may panic. Yeah, sure. A group of people were discussing. Song Qingwan looked at Su Yu on the big screen. Her beautiful eyes were full of trust, and even a little bit of pride. Boom. The bell that symbolized the start of the assessment rang. The assessment hall fell silent instantly. Everyone looked at the big screen, and suddenly there was an exclamation in the hall. Why are his questions so difficult? This is backed by the coast, and enemies are coming from all directions. Is this young man so unlucky? You can't walk in the sea, you can only walk in 3 directions, and there are 4 kinds of strange beasts in each direction. The strongest man he can mobilize is the 3rd-rank warrior. Is this really a question that low-level tacticians can do? There's nothing wrong with the system. There was an instant noise in the hall. The moment Qin Ling saw the title, his pupils shrank slightly. Then she found that Song Qingwan was extremely calm, without any mood swings. Such a difficult question, aren't you nervous for your boyfriend? Boyfriend. Song Qingwan's face turned red instantly. She was a little embarrassed and said, he's not my boyfriend yet. Qin Ling was stunned. Is this the point I said? Now she knows who the uncles are talking about in Love Brain. Song Qingwan noticed Qin Ling's strange eyes and realized that he had lost his composure. She quickly waved her hand and said, don't worry about him, he has a very good understanding of tactics. Little girl, this tactician assessment is not like the stuff you learned in school. Not to mention the problem your little boyfriend is encountering now, it is the hardest thing I have seen in these years. Let me tell you the truth, your money is a waste. The uncle on the side said. Hong Kong, who had just become a tactician, looked at the question and shook his head. This problem, I have to admit that I am unlucky when I encounter it. Within a few hours, it is difficult to maintain a 20% battle loss ratio to pass the level. When tactician Hong Kong said this, everyone in the hall basically believed that Su Yu had failed. Everyone tried to use their own ideas to solve the problem. As a result, they could only shake their heads helplessly. It's too difficult. I might not be able to come up with a good idea in a day. I suspect that this question is the most difficult for low-level tactical questions, and it is estimated that it is not far from an intermediate tactician if it can pass. On the screen, Su Yu has already started to act. In the beginning, I just probed slowly to understand the situation, but I can't see anything special at this time. In the invigilation room, the 2 invigilators were a little puzzled. Junior brother Lu Meng, can this Su Yu really pass such a difficult question? I just checked his information. His tactical performance in Tianyan No. 8 high school is indeed very good, but he probably hasn't reached the strength to face this kind of battle, right? Lu Meng shook his head. If I know it's true. This kind of question should be just a small test for him. If it weren't for the fact that there is no examination authority for intermediate tacticians here, I would rather let him try the questions for intermediate tacticians. The 2 old tacticians glanced at each other, still unable to believe their ears. He was only 18 years old, the level of an intermediate tactician. Tianyuan City has produced such a genius, how can they not know? From their point of view, it must be that junior brother Lu Meng has admitted the wrong person. But the other party is also a well-known genius, and they will not refute anything. Looking at the big screen, I really hope that Su Yu can surprise them. At the beginning of the investigation, the barracks were stationed, and the defensive formation was arranged. Su Yu followed everything in the textbook without any mistakes. Not to mention, this kid must be very serious in class, and everything he learned in the book is in place. But it's a pity that just relying on books to learn these things is not enough. Everyone in the hall was discussing, but Qin Ling's expression became more serious. Almost everyone's attention was attracted by Su Yu's solid basic skills. I didn't notice at all that when Su Yu was arranging these things, he mobilized several individual units to move forward with the momentum of the large army. As the pupils focused, a line appeared in the corner of Qin Ling's eyes. There was only a rough projection of the live broadcast on the big screen, and she could see it more and more clearly. Only then did she discover that Su Yu not only mobilized these individual units to advance. It is even terrifying that the mission instructions of each individual unit are different. Is this multitasking? Qin Ling murmured. 1 minute, 2 minutes. Su Yu seems to have been carefully probing and destroying those alien beasts that could not pose a threat. However, in fact, the individual units he arranged have already entered the territory of those 4-rank beasts. In the assessment room, the corners of Su Yu's mouth raised slightly when he got the information about the 4th-grade alien beast based on the investigation feedback. Soon, the painting style changed suddenly. Su Yu's troops, who had been cautiously probing forward, suddenly began to make big moves. He's starting to take action. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Why did he divide the troops into 8 groups and conduct forward investigations separately? Wait a minute, these troops seem to be executing different orders at the same time. As soon as the voice fell, there were bursts of gasps immediately at the scene. Hiss, isn't this kid a multitasking supernatural being? No wonder he is so confident and dares to pass the test at such a young age. In the hall, there were bursts of envious voices. Qin Ling shook his head. This is not multitasking. All his decisions are made in advance. In the face of different situations, to resolve at the same time, in fact, he has already expected. Girl Qin Ling, are you kidding me? Someone asked in disbelief. He looked to find Qin Ling, only to suddenly realize that strange and beautiful lines had appeared in the corners of the other's eyes. Others also saw this scene. Finding that Qin Ling had even used his supernatural powers, everyone's doubts were swallowed back immediately. At the same time, the shock in my heart was even stronger than before. There was an instant silence in the noisy hall. Multitasking is a superpower. If Su Yu relies on superpowers to pass the level, they can still comfort themselves. But if it is a pure prediction, it proves that there is no additional conditional bonus, and the opponent is really strong. Compared with the blow brought by the ability, this kind of talent blow made everyone present feel even more desperate. Eyes refocused on the big screen. Only then did everyone realize that one of the 3 4th-grade beasts that they must try to avoid in their minds was in the pregnancy stage. Su Yu went to tease him, and immediately made the whole situation messy. And he also took advantage of the chaos to bring the troops out of this dangerous wilderness. The whole process looks very simple and easy. The hall was still silent. Because everyone knew, even if they knew in advance that a strange beast was pregnant. They also can't guarantee that the battle loss ratio is below 20%, and they can divide everyone into multiple teams to bring everyone out of the encirclement. Perhaps, with Su Yu's method, they would just die faster. Qin Ling used Su Yu's method in his mind to deduce it several times. Only once successfully took people out, the battle damage ratio was more than half. When the battle situation was chaotic, she found that among the 8 teams, she could take care of at most half of them. In most cases, the entire army will be wiped out due to chaos. During Su Yu's entire breakout process, the role of the 3rd-rank warriors in his hands was almost brought into play to the extreme. Most of the time, he can rely on those 3rd-rank warriors to form 0 battle damage. Su Yu passed the test for a long time, but there were no new questions in the examination room. However, in the hall, only Song Qingwan was wondering and anxious about this matter. Everyone else was shocked by this horrific way of solving the problem. These people have never seen someone break through like this. For a while, even the tactical thinking of many people for many years was somewhat shocked. Someone tried to put Su Yu on the opposite side as an imaginary enemy. The moment this idea appeared, I felt a cold sweat running down my back. Qin Ling escaped from the supernatural state. Weakness visible to the naked eye. Your boyfriend is amazing, she said. Song Qingwan nodded proudly, then shook her head immediately. Immediately, he was a little worried and asked, he seems to have no problem, is this all right? Qin Ling explained. He was able to solve such a problem within 8 minutes, and the battle damage ratio was even controlled to 10%. It should be the standard to pass the assessment after reaching one question. Hearing this, the smile on Song Qingwan's face became brighter. At this time, she didn't forget what Su Yu told her. Qin Ling, you can wait for Su Yu. I want him to take a picture of us together. Qin Ling had already heard about Su Yu's previous theory, seeing Song Qingwan looking around. She also couldn't help laughing. No problem, I also want to find a chance to get to know him again. But having said that, I seem to be quite honored to be regarded as a genius by him. As he said that, Chin Ling, who was still a little hit, had a sunny smile on his face again. For the next time, everyone is waiting for this round of assessment to end. The few uncles who were extremely enthusiastic before now wished to get to know Song Qingwan in advance. If Chin Ling hadn't been by her side all the time, these people would probably have gathered here. What's interesting is that the uncle who said that Song Qingwan was in love with the brain not long ago and wanted to teach his daughter not to be like this. At this time, he began to mutter again, "This girl has really good eyesight. If my daughter wants her half eyes, it will be smoke from the ancestral grave." In the proctor's room, the two invigilators looked at each other's clothes. He even took out a mirror and a comb to tidy up his grooming. The expression of joy on his face was uncontrollable. Junior brother, such a genius must not be snatched away by other schools. Later, you can personally send him a badge and let him know that it is good for us to refuse Peking University. For the two old seniors who have graduated for many years, they still think about their alma mater. Lu Meng was very respectful. After thinking about it for a while, he smiled and said, "You two senior brothers, don't worry too much about this. This professor who has been rejected by us from Peking University has taken a fancy to him in advance." "Really?" the two said in unison. "Well, although he refused." There was an imperceptible smile on the corner of Lu Meng's mouth. The two old seniors looked dumbfounded. Having said that, at the beginning, the students who rejected Peking University only knew that there was a student in Tianyuan City who had been directly recruited by Professor Zhu Yun. As soon as the news came out, everyone at Peking University was investigating the student. Before anyone could find out who it was, someone immediately revealed that the student had even rejected Professor Zhu Yun's direct recruitment invitation. All kinds of news are superimposed, and Su Yu has become a celebrity in Jubei University before leaving Tianyuan City. As far as Lu Meng knew, news of Su Yu's perfect clearance came out. There are already several top hunting teams in the combat department of Jubei University who want to bring Su Yu under their command. Even those seniors are extremely optimistic about this newcomer who has not yet entered the school. I want to train him from freshman year to prepare for entering the barren battlefield in the future. It is a pity that a series of information about Su Yu was dug up later. His qi and blood were only 100, and his talent of cultivation was slower than that of a tortoise, which directly dispelled the thoughts of everyone in the combat department. The voice to invite him to join the hunting team disappeared. If it wasn't for this reason, Lu Meng can guarantee that those lunatics in the combat department would have gone to Tianyuan City to poach people. As the only junior in the tactical department who passed the full score, he came here to work as a part-time invigilator because of curiosity. I thought I would have to wait for a while, but I didn't expect to meet Su Yu as soon as I arrived. Seeing it with his own eyes today made him believe all the previous rumors. It was no luck that Su Yu passed perfectly. Even in his opinion, Su Yu's true explosive period will not be fully ushered in until he enters into the Jubei University. The help that the small Tianyuan City can bring to him is too small. Let his talent not be perfectly presented. Let's go, two brothers, let's go and award this new tactician with a medal. Lu Meng smiled and stood up. There was some relief in his smile. Before coming here, Professor Zhu Yun had rejected me, but now he chose an unknown kid. He is dissatisfied, and it is not convincing now, but it is understandable. On the side, the two old seniors were still in a state of shock. He quickly caught up with him and asked, "Did he really refuse?" Lu Meng nodded. An old senior slapped his thigh straight, confused. Confused. Didn't his teacher stop him? No, tomorrow, I must go to Tianyuan No. 8 middle school to ask carefully what is going on. Lu Meng smiled. Brother, don't worry, Professor Zhu Yun won't let this kid go easily. Zhu Yun, you mean Zhu Yun, the new master? The two of them froze again. Well, when I entered the school, I was rejected. Lu Meng nodded. At this moment, the two old seniors began to mutter. Blind, does he know what he's refusing? How did his teacher become a teacher? The two old seniors changed their joyful expressions and walked ahead angrily. I can't wait to grab Su Yu to teach him right away, and at the same time, I also want to question the tactics teacher who questioned him, which one is not sensible. At this time, Su Yu just came out from the assessment hall. Su Yu walked out of the examination room. The hall was not as lively and noisy as the vegetable market after Hong Kong passed the assessment. Contrast that with absolute silence. For such geniuses, it seems that there is a natural gap between them. The moment I saw Su Yu, I was more or less afraid to take that step forward. Instead, Song Qingwan and Qin Ling stepped forward to greet them with smiles on their faces. Song Qingwan congratulated with excitement, "Su Yu. Congratulations on officially becoming a tactician. Hey, I knew you would be fine." Qin Ling didn't understand how the emotional change between Song Qingwan, who was excited at the moment, and the avalanche just now without changing his expression happened. Maybe this is love. She also stepped forward and said, "Congratulations. Congratulations. Don't forget what we said today. In the future, when we form a team, you will help me and Qinghuan hold the battle. With you helping us with tactical planning, we will definitely be invincible." Su Yu said with a smile, "That's not acceptable, I want to go to the front line too." Just as he was talking, he saw two invigilators approaching in a rage. This scene stunned everyone present. Some people who were envious and jealous just a second ago couldn't help guessing, the invigilator is like this, so Su Yu is cheating during the assessment, right? Is it still possible to cheat in the assessment? Some people were puzzled. Why not? The bald man who spoke looked convincing. Think about it, if you pass such a difficult question, you won't say it. Do you think the method he used is a tactic that normal people can use? If you ask me, this kid is definitely cheating, otherwise the invigilator wouldn't be so angry. Anyway, I don't think anyone can pass the level like this. Indeed, the more I think about it, the more I feel something is wrong. There was a lot of chatter in the hall, talking about everything. When the two invigilators walked up to Su Yu, everyone fell silent. Hearing what the bald man said, there was no shortage of malicious guesses. Many people are waiting to see a good show. "Su Yu," the proctor asked. "Well, I am Su Yu." Su Yu was very calm. "I even want to ask these two old seniors, who provoked you? What's your teacher's name?" Another invigilator asked again. "Look, I'm asking the teacher now. It is estimated that the school will be notified later, maybe they will be expelled." In the crowd, the bald man vowed again. "Firing. Is it so serious?" "Isn't that serious? His cheating is challenging the entire tactician alliance." The bald man was filled with righteous indignation. At the moment, the two invigilators are only thinking about Su Yu's refusal of the master. The voices of these people could not be heard at all. Lu Meng behind them had a smile on his face. "This is human nature, when you see white arms, you will think. My teacher is Cheng Yang." Su Yu replied, "You refused to reject the direct recruitment of Peking University, didn't Cheng Yang stop you? Doesn't he know that the youngest grandmaster gave you a place? Is he such a joke that you refuse?" After a series of life-threatening and repeated questions, Su Yu completely understood what was going on. At the same time, the onlookers dropped their jaws in shock. What? Rejecting the direct admission of Peking University? It's still a direct recruiting quota for a tactical master. My God, how talented is this kid? Listen clearly, Mr. Tang is talking about the youngest tactical master. If you agree to this, wouldn't you be on the rise? In the future, when his teacher becomes a grand master, is it still difficult for him to become a grand master? A group of people were shocked, and at the same time they were looking for the man who had sworn that Su Yu cheated. However, at this time, the shadow of the bald head was nowhere to be seen. Some people who followed along also lowered their heads, for fear of being caught out. After Su Yu understood this, he silently said sorry to Lao Ban in his heart. He looked surprised. "No. My teacher took a video for me to say it again. I didn't know that Professor Zhu Yun was a master. If I knew, I would definitely not refuse. I thought it was the same as ordinary exams. I didn't want to go through the back door. I wanted to rely on my own strength to pass the exam." Through the back door, everyone at the scene was silent. The two invigilators clenched their fists. "Success. Be brave." Behind Su Yu, Sister Song Qingwan blinked her eyes. She seemed different from what I remembered. Su Yu remained silent, pretending to be ignorant. Conscience of heaven and earth, he really doesn't know that Professor Zhu Yun is actually the youngest tactical master of Blue Star. If he knew, how could he promise the class teacher to say another article and let him record the video? Isn't this purely to cheat students? My buddy has offended a promising grandmaster before he even entered school, how can he do this? The originally angry expressions of the two invigilators calmed down immediately after learning the truth of the matter. He even comforted Suyu and said, "The child is fine, we will explain it to you, and I will help you educate your teacher. It's just too much nonsense." Speaking of teacher Suyu, the two became a little angry again. "Okay, let's issue you a badge first. The ritual has already been performed once today, and it will be performed again." When the badge was awarded to Suyu, everyone found out that Suyu had the badge. It turned out to be the young man behind the two invigilators. Before taking the stage, Lu Mengkai put on the golden prismatic badge without slowing down. See his glowing badge. Everyone in the hall stared straight. Qin Ling, who was still shocked by the direct move just a second ago, opened her mouth wide at this moment. WOC. Advanced Tactician Badge. I remember that we don't have senior tacticians in Tianyuan City. I see, he must have come for Suyu. No wonder Suyu's topic is so difficult today. It turned out that it wasn't a problem with the system, it was the test specially set by this senior tactician for Suyu. Lu Meng came in front of Suyu, and laughed in a voice that only the two of them could hear, "Things must not be as you said." While talking, he gave Suyu the badge. "I'm waiting for you at Jubei University. You are too weak now. When you come to Jubei to study for a year, let's have a good discussion." Suyu looked bitter. "Brother, half-truth, half-false, I really don't dare to reject North now." Lu Meng laughed loudly. "If you really don't want to go, then I really admire your courage." Hearing this, Suyu also laughed. "Bring the badge, and then take a group photo for nostalgia." Having already met Suyu, Lu Meng left without staying. It's really overkill for a senior tactician to come here as an invigilator. At the same time, he also reminded the two old seniors to record the bald man who slandered Suyu. Later, the Tactical Alliance rejected his application for assessment. The name of slandering the disciples of the master is enough to prevent him from entering the examination hall. In the assessment hall, after learning that Suyu will have a master teacher in the future, everyone no longer considered the gap between them, and rushed forward one by one desperately trying to get acquainted with Suyu. It was hard to break out from the crowd. Looking at Qin Ling who was still waiting for him, he suddenly said with regret, "I'll go. I'm careless." Qin Ling and Song Qingwan were a little confused. I just heard him continue. "I haven't taken a picture of him yet." The two girls looked at each other. Now I believe that taking pictures is really Suyu's eccentricity, not just for sex. After all, this product is shot by both men and women. Suyu felt that he had missed a golden mountain. Thinking of Lu Meng's hurried appearance, he even wondered if the other party did it on purpose. With a long sigh, I told myself in my heart that there are people beyond others and others beyond others. He regained his vitality and looked at the two girls with full expectation. Let's go out and take pictures under the statue of Great Master Ji Qing." Suyu walked in front. Qin Ling pulled Song Qingwan from behind and asked in a low voice, "Are you sure Suyu will give us the photo later?" I really don't blame her for asking one more question. The main reason is that Suyu looked at her as if he was staring at some prey. Although my heart is fluttering, there is also an inexplicable little secret joy. But Qin Ling couldn't help but ask one more question. Song Qingwan frowned. Suyu is not that kind of person. Qin Ling let out a long sigh. Come on, neither of these young couples is normal. Came outside. Suyu skillfully pointed the camera at the two of them. The system prompt appears again. It has been checked that the target illustration book has the ultimate analysis of A-level abilities. The host obtains the illustration book with a higher probability of obtaining low-dimensional attributes, a smaller probability of obtaining skills, a small probability of obtaining high-dimensional attributes, and a very small probability of obtaining abilities. Close black lens bracket. A level ability. Suyu's hand pressing the shutter stopped for a moment. He blindly aimed at the passing crowd on the side of the road today, and the highest ability he checked was C level. Now I have finally encountered AB level or higher. Extreme analysis. No wonder Qin Ling's goal is to be a tactical analyst. I feel that this skill is also very helpful to me. If you can get it, you can choose to stay. Thinking in his heart, Suyu pressed the shutter. There was a click. 1 second Suyu was thinking about leaving his supernatural power behind, and the next second he was silent. He found that today's good luck must have been used on his father. There was nothing. Suyu pressed the shutter again in disbelief. Congratulations to the host for gaining agility attribute +10. The smile came back a little on his face. He didn't continue to take pictures, and after sending the photos to the two girls, he put away the camera. He is also planning to go to the wilderness today to find a few strange beasts to try, and he has to keep 2. Moreover, it is easy to be misunderstood when you first get to know Kakaka and shoot a lot, which is obviously not conducive to sustainable development. I don't know if it is the system's own correction effect. Every photo taken by Suyu still looks the same. Both of them were very satisfied with getting the photos. Suyu, your photography skills are very good. If I need to take pictures in the future, can I find you? Suyu froze for a moment, but he didn't expect the other party to come to his door. Qinling didn't know why he said that suddenly. Obviously, besides practicing, I study tactics every day, so I don't need to take pictures at all. Because he is a good tactician, I want to learn more from him. Well, that must be the case. And me, Song Qingwan said from the side. 5 yuan for a photo, no one cheats. Suyu stretched out 5 fingers. Song Qingwan counted with his fingers. Then I'm going to give you dozens of dollars. No, I still owe you tens of thousands. Song Qingwan's eyes lit up, and Dang even put his hands on his hips and said, he, then you have to listen to me, don't write nothing in the next mock test, or I will ask you to pay back the money. Seeing the two lovers flirting here, Qinling took the lead and left. After the assessment, Suyu went straight to the weapon shop. It was already at the door that Song Qingwan, who had been following behind him, realized it. Suyu, are you going to buy weapons? Well, I'm going to buy a dagger. Just as he was talking, Song Qingwan took out a delicate dagger from his waist. Okay, I'll see you off. Suyu took it and looked at it carefully. A refined iron dagger with the name of the craftsman on it. This kind of dagger is worth at least tens of thousands of yuan in the market. I can't afford it. I already owe you tens of thousands. Suyu handed back the dagger. Song Qingwan shook his head. They say it's for you. And I don't like this dagger, it's so dark it doesn't look good at all. As she spoke, she took out another dagger from her left waist. As soon as it was unsheathed, it shone with a silvery white cold light. Suyu, this one is the reward for the 3rd place in the last training camp, and this one I give you is the reward for the last training camp. They don't cost money, and I don't need 2 of them. Song Qingwan explained. As a man who didn't even have the qualifications for the follow-up training camp, Suyu remained silent. With tears in her eyes, she accepted the gift from rich woman Qingwan. Suyu then went straight to the wilderness. This time, Song Qingwan stopped him. You bought the dagger to go to the wilderness. That's right, I don't need it in the urban area. By the way, why do you follow me all the time? Suyu, who just accepted the gift, turned his face on the spot and denied anyone. Song Qingwan had a straight face. The head teacher wants me to watch you more. He said that he was afraid that you would not think twice and rush into the wilderness to seek death. If you do anything unusual, let me watch it more. Suyu, my dear head teacher really knows me well. Suyu stopped the bicycle, looking bad, so I can only go home now. No, you can go, just let me follow you. With me here, the D-level area is fine. Song Qingwan's answer surprised Suyu a little. Okay, let's go now. Whenever he hesitated for a second, Suyu felt that it was a disrespect to the beautiful bodyguard. The two of them rode their bicycles to the front of the city wall, which was tens of meters high. At the steel gate, soldiers are checking in and out. Song Qingwan led the way with ease. It was the first time for Suyu to go out of the city and enter the wilderness, and he had to go through a series of system registrations. Emergency contact, after the emergency contact time is set. Was allowed to leave the city. I don't know if I saw the prismatic badge on Suyu's left chest. The man in charge of registration also reminded me one more thing. Although it's only a D-level area, there may be first-class exotic beasts appearing at the border, so don't get too close to the border. Understood, thank you brother for reminding me. Suyu replied obediently. The registered man nodded and let Su Yu pass the card. Song Qingwan was already waiting outside the checkpoint. Seeing Su Yu's obedient student, she shook her head. She thought it would be better if the elder brother didn't mention it, but Su Yu might go straight to the border as soon as he entered. Su Yu was very excited to get out of the city successfully. Seeing that he looked like a wild horse running wild, Song Qingwan quickly said, "Before Su Yu goes in, I have to make an agreement with you for 3 chapters. First, you can only go when I think there is no danger. Second, you can't leave me more than 5 meters away. Third, if there is danger, you must obey my command." Song Qingwan, who was usually soft and cute, looked extremely serious at the moment, and her tone of voice was unquestionable. After thinking about it, she added, "Otherwise, I'll knock you unconscious on the spot and take you home." With this sentence, Su Yu believed that she had this strength. "Okay, don't worry, I just want to go into the wilderness and experience the feeling of the wilderness for myself. When I see a strange beast, I will absolutely obediently hide behind you. At that time, I will take a few photos and study the differences between them in the books." Seeing Song Qingwan still looked suspicious, Su Yu had no choice but to continue. "Don't worry, I usually mess around, but you know that I am afraid of pain and death, so I won't give away my head." Hearing this, Song Qingwan barely believed it. Su Yu also looked helpless. There is no way, after the person who likes to make trouble has become deeply rooted in the hearts of the people, he will want to change for a while, which is really difficult. But if he didn't have the previous troublemaking experience, he probably wouldn't have the chance to be chartered as a member of the 7th class and specially tutor Song Qingwan's tactics. The principal dares to take off the tires. In the eyes of the teachers and students of Tianyan No. 8 Middle School, Su Yu is already a lawless existence. Su Yu is worrying about how to get rid of his troublesome personality. The voices of passers-by came from the side. "Look at this kid, he is afraid of his girlfriend at such an age. It seems that in the future, the designation will be strictly controlled by a wife. What's wrong with his wife's strict control? You don't even look at how good-looking his girlfriend is. As far as I'm concerned, it's good to have a strict wife. At least you have a girlfriend, unlike you who have been single for 30 years and have no one to control you. What nonsense are you talking about? No one cares about me. I don't want to be bound by the love of my children." Song Qingwan blushed a little and looked around. Su Yu was once again full of black lines, and he was derelict. After the little boy, he also got the title of a strict wife. Go, I can't wait," he said hastily. Under the leadership of Song Qingwan, the two gradually moved away from the city wall. Looking back at this time, it was already a gray area. Standing in this wilderness, Su Yu felt only the endless pressure brought by the grayness. It seems that even breathing is more difficult in the wilderness. This made him can't help but think about how difficult it was for the group of ancestors who faced the alien invasion in the first place. The entire blue star is gray and gray, the sun is not seen all day long, and there is not even a difference between day and night. How much blood did they shed to regain the current living city for mankind, so that the younger generations can bathe in the warm sunshine? Thinking of these, Su Yu's jumping temper also restrained a lot. Seeing this, Song Qingwan felt relieved. Although it is only a D-level wilderness, it will not be dangerous for her. But if Su Yu really messed up, for the sake of his life safety, then she only had the option of knocking him unconscious and taking him back. Both of them wandered around in the wilderness with no purpose. Towering trees burst out of the once high-rise buildings. Some remaining buildings remind everyone that this place was once a place where human beings lived and lived like Tianyuan City. For other people, these are also very normal things. But for Su Yu, who lived on a wonderful planet not so long ago, the impact brought by the strong contrast hits the face. He looked up at the gray sky and the gray leaves. Do you think one day, this place will return to the blue sky and white clouds? Song Qingwan was taken aback by Su Yu's sudden question. Before she could answer, Su Yu continued, I saw him in a dream with blue sky and white clouds, it was very beautiful. With that said, Su Yu stepped forward and began to search for traces on the tree. Song Qingwan looked at his back, and found that this tablemate with an out-of-character personality seemed to be different from all the peers she had come into contact with. When the training camp instructors and the others entered the wilderness for the first time. There are those who are afraid, those who are excited, and there are people with all kinds of emotions. But there is no one like Suyu, who makes her feel a sense of sadness, but also exudes a light of hope for everything. With this complicated feeling, Song Qingwan couldn't help but want to know more about Suyu. A strange beast passed by here just now. Suyu, who was looking for traces in front, turned around and said. Song Qingwan came to his side in a flash. Well, this is the paw print of the yellow-eyed rabbit in Asakusa. Suyu nodded. Going to the southwest, probably looking for food. Do you want to follow? Song Qingwan asked. Since I came to the wilderness, if I didn't even see a strange beast, then it would be in vain. Song Qingwan wasn't bothered. Then don't leave the 3-meter range of me later. The Asakusa yellow-eyed rabbit likes to attack people's necks the most. If you act recklessly, I will really knock you out. In fact, the Asakusa yellow-eyed rabbit was no different from ordinary rabbits in her eyes. But to be on the safe side, she could only say something dangerous on purpose. The two followed the trail all the way. One has basically no weakness in the theoretical direction, and the other is absolutely crushing in terms of force. After a while, the exact location of the yellow-eyed rabbit in Asakusa was located. The two began to communicate with gestures. After several silent jumps on the tree trunk, Suyu finally saw the living beast with his own eyes. The fangs exposed like a saber-toothed tiger, the claws that are 10 to 20 centimeters long, and the hazy eyes revealed fierceness. With a body of more than 1 meter, it is difficult for Suyu to connect the rabbit in front of him with the rabbit in his previous life. I want to try my hand, you help me hold the line. Suyu, who had promised very nicely before coming here, rushed out in a swish. At that moment, Song Qingwan's eyes were icy cold. He almost raised his left hand. This can be regarded as an advance greeting, and it is not a violation of what I said before. She comforted herself. Seeing Suyu's agile speed, and the agility shown by jumping along with him just now. Song Qingwan probably guessed that Suyu was not as powerless as everyone imagined. Like his tactical understanding, his strength seems to be hidden. Of course, strength is strength, but the touch of blue in Song Qingwan's eyes has never faded. She stared at the battlefield, ready to freeze the Asakusa yellow-eyed rabbit at any time. The SSS level ability is used to kill small rabbits that are not good enough. Anyone who sees it will have to say it arrogantly. Fortunately, Suyu, who rushed out, didn't give Song Qingwan a chance to make a big move. Twice clang. Suyu's dagger accurately blocked the yellow-eyed rabbit, who turned back. Bending over and turning around, the black dagger was stained with red blood. With the next cut, the pitch-black dagger cut the yellow-eyed rabbit's throat. As if to prevent the yellow-eyed rabbit from struggling before dying, Suyu took another strong kick and kicked it 10 meters away. The whole journey down, but tens of seconds of effort. On the branch, Song Qingwan, who witnessed the whole process with his own eyes, widened his eyes. If you let Suyu get close to him, suddenly attacking himself, with the strength he has shown now, will my life be in danger? Such a question suddenly appeared in Song Qingwan's mind. With just a few movements, she found that if she didn't consider her physical fitness and only focused on skills playing daggers, she is definitely not Suyu's opponent. Every move of the opponent is extremely precise and neat, and there is also that moving movement. Without decades of practice, it is absolutely impossible to reach this level. In Song Qingwan's impression, only the person who has always been number one in the training camp can compete with Suyu in dagger skills. Other geniuses are no match for him. Suyu finished Asakusa yellow-eyed rabbit. Then he took out his camera without haste. It's right in the book. The Asakusa yellow-eyed rabbit's attacking movements are always coordinated with the forward pounce. Block it the first time, and the second time it will be fatal. However, this is an ordinary beast, and above grade 1 beasts will form a corresponding consciousness. It is probably not that simple. Suyu summed up while taking pictures. Song Qingwan fell beside him and said nothing. She had a lot of questions, but didn't feel the need to ask them. Congratulations to the host for entering the illustration book, Asakusa Yellow-Eyed Rabbit, and get the reward Agility +10, Chi and Blood +1 fixed rewards. Reminder: the entry of the Alien Beast illustrated book requires the killing of the host before it can be entered. Close black lens bracket. Reminder: if you record 10 different beasts in total, you will get extra rewards. Close black lens bracket. A series of prompts from the system made Suyu stunned. System: does the fixed reward mean that if I kill a strange beast, it will be included in the illustrated book, or does it mean only Asakusa yellow-eyed rabbits? Entering all the beasts in the illustrated book will reward chi and blood. Except for the special beasts, the chi and blood will be rewarded with 1. Close black lens bracket. After getting the desired answer, Suyu's eyes that were still attached to the camera lit up on the spot. Fixed blood boost. What more bike? For a while, the wilderness will be my home. 10 chi and blood are fixed every day, and there is more than a month before the college entrance examination and 300 chi and blood. What kind of cultivation talent is not F? These are not things. If you take the college entrance examination after breaking through as a martial artist, Suyu's goal will be raised to a higher level in an instant. National College Entrance Examination Champion. A swamp in the wild. The 4 young men were worrying, when suddenly a blue-haired girl's eyes lit up. I sense that there is a supernatural being near us. He just seemed to be about to activate the ability. How is the strength of the ability? The red-haired man asked immediately. The blue-haired girl glanced at the other 3. It's stronger than the 3 of us combined. Hearing this, the faces of the 3 of them showed surprise. How about it? Do you want to do it? If we don't seize this opportunity, it will be difficult to come back next time. Besides, when we go out to recruit people, we may not be able to recruit such powerful people," said the white-haired man with a bow and arrow on his back. "I'm just afraid that people won't like it." The purple-haired man hesitated. "Forget it, let's try first. If it doesn't work, we will give them 50% of the spoils and battle contribution." "Okay, let's try first, Cece will lead the way." The 4 hit it off immediately, and immediately ran towards the direction where Suyu and Song Qingwan were, led by the blue-haired woman Cece. On the other side, Song Qingwan and Suyu just disposed of the corpse of the Asakusa yellow-eyed rabbit. The fangs and claws that could be sold for a little money were removed, and the other corpses were completely wiped out under a bottle of powder. In the beginning, when humans were slaughtering alien beasts, they usually just killed them and finished. It wasn't until later that everyone discovered that these corpses would become new nutrients to feed back the local environment, thus giving birth to more powerful alien beasts. Since then, how to destroy corpses and traces has become a must-learn skill for all students. Somebody is coming. The 2 were about to leave when Song Qingwan suddenly stopped and said. Suyu also felt it carefully, and then heard the sound of a branch being trampled. And the sounds are getting closer. It seems that they are coming for us, and they have no intention of hiding it. Suyu said. Song Qingwan nodded. Maybe I encountered a strange beast that I couldn't handle. If they invite us, shall we go? She looked to Suyu and asked. She is not a pedantic obedient student, after discovering that Suyu has good strength. She also no longer treats Suyu as a helpless child. Of course, what the school taught us is to help each other as much as possible when encountering difficulties in the wilderness. Suyu was a little eager to move. Of course, we also need to see clearly what the other party is here for, he added. Song Qingwan put her hands on her waist. Well, but my main task is to protect you. Here we come. Suyu looked towards the front of the gray. Suyu and Song Qingwan were both stunned when 4 young men with special hair colors came in front of them. Is this the Kill Mad Hunter squad? Suyu cursed in his heart. After the 4 stopped, Cece took the initiative to step forward and said, Hello, my name is Peng Si, and we are the Magic Hunting Squad. We recently encountered a star-spotted frog who was just promoted to a rare beast. It's not far ahead. We came here today for the star-spotted frog, but we didn't find out until we arrived that there was not only a first-grade star-spotted frog in the swamp, but also dozens of ordinary star-spotted frogs. With our current configuration, it is still difficult to take down this group of strange beasts. My ability is perception enhancement, and I just sense that there are people with abilities here. So I came here to disturb you rashly. I want to ask if you are willing to form a temporary team with us. We can set up a temporary hunting team now, and we can share 50% of the spoils and battle contributions with you. Finish these in one breath. It seemed that they were afraid that Suyu and Song Qingwan would back off when they heard the strange beast. Cece went on to say, the four of us are all supernatural beings. Xie Wei's ability is paralysis attachment, he can make the weapon have its own paralysis effect. Lu Chu's ability is petrification, he can now petrify his upper body, and has a resistance effect to star point poison. Zuo Sha's ability is to form a net. He can create a sticky net to restrict the movement of strange beasts. Spider-Man, Su Yu subconsciously asked. The purple-haired Zuo Sha immediately waved his hand and said, it's not that powerful. I can only weave webs. I can't shoot web cables like Spider-Man. A four-person supernatural beast hunting team showed their sincerity as soon as they came up. Song Qingwan looked at Su Yu. She can deal with the first-grade beasts alone, and it shouldn't be a problem for the remaining 10 star-spotted frogs to be handed over to Su Yu and these 4 people. We accept your invitation. Su Yu did not hesitate. Seeing that Su Yu was obviously weaker, he made a decision. Cece and the others all looked at him twice more. Only then did they realize that Su Yu was still wearing a prismatic badge symbolizing a tactician on his left chest. Brother, are you a tactician? The red-haired Lu Chu said excitedly. Su Yu nodded. It's not long since I passed the assessment. If you trust me, let's formulate a specific killing plan in advance later. Lu Chu nodded like a chicken pecking rice. Of course. You are a tactician. My previous dream was to be a tactician. It's a pity that I don't have that talent. I'm only suitable for being a meat shield. Xie Wei glanced at him and complained ruthlessly. Since you already know, then after you go back to school this time, don't waste money on the assessment. Obviously, these 4 are still college students. Without wasting time, everyone established a temporary hunting team through the bracelet, and also set up the distribution of spoils and combat contributions in advance. For these functions, Su Yu has to feel that the leader of the Dragon Kingdom is wise. The existence of these things can reduce many unnecessary suspicions and precautions. Soon, both parties saw each other's basic information on the bracelet. When the 4 saw the ages of Su Yu and Song Qingwan on the bracelets, everyone's eyes widened. Under 18, are young people today so powerful? At first they thought that the 2 of them were college students just like them. More than 10 minutes away, everyone cautiously entered a swamp. At a distance of 300 meters from the star-pointed frogs, everyone stopped. Cece passed on the specific location and other information of their previous investigation to the bracelet. Then, including Song Qingwan, everyone waited expectantly for Su Yu to come up with a tactical plan. Su Yu looked at it carefully, and arranged with extremely fast speech. Lu Chu and Zuo Sha broke in from the front at the same time. Lu Chu is responsible for attracting the star-spotted frogs, and Zuo Sha weaves a net behind to restrict the movement of these star-spotted frogs. Peng Si, you and Xie Wei are responsible for dealing with these strange beasts. Xie Wei shoots first. Peng Si, you are responsible for the fatal blow. You have strong perception. It is most suitable for you to finish it. If there is no one-shot kill, just ignore it and continue to deal with the next one. The cooperation between you and Xie Wei cannot stop. What about that grade 1 star spot frog? A group of people said in unison. Su Yu smiled. Just leave it to Qinghuan. We are responsible for clearing the obstacles for Qinghuan. It's fine for Qinghuan to deal with that first-grade star point frog directly. Of course, Xie Wei and Zuo Sha, it's better for the 2 of you to set some restrictions on that first-grade star frog at the beginning, so that Qinghuan can also relax. Well, but our effect may be extremely limited. The 2 nodded. Su Yu waved his hand to indicate that there was no problem, and continued, I'll fill in the leak later. After some arrangement, everyone felt weird. Lu Chu also murmured softly, it doesn't make sense, I can make such an arrangement too. Peng Si looked at Song Qingwan many times and asked, Sister Qingwan, are you really okay? Song Qingwan nodded, no problem. Su Yu also knows what everyone thinks, but he just wants to say that it's really that simple. 6 people, 5 supernatural beings. 1 SSS level ability user, coupled with 2 control type ability users. How complex tactics can be required? If it wasn't for the eyes that everyone expected, he even wanted to say that it would be fine to just push it over, why bother with all these bells and whistles? In the end, the prismatic badge on Su Yu's chest, plus the strength of the ability that Peng Si had sensed before. still persuaded the four to agree to fight with this plan. Lu Chu opened the way ahead. Su Yu came to Song Qingwan's side and said, Sister Qingwan, if there is a chance later, can you give me the final blow of the first-grade star frog? I want to try killing a first-grade exotic beast myself. Song Qingwan nodded without hesitation. It's not a big deal, just freeze it and let Su Yu cut it. The two arranged for the death method of the first-grade star point frog. The four people in front muttered in their hearts again. Are we really going to leapfrog to challenge a first-grade beast? Why does the style of painting feel a bit strange? There is no time for them to think too much. From the moment everyone stepped into the star-pointed frog field, there were deafening cries of frogs all around. The sound seemed to pierce the eardrums. Tongues that were tens of centimeters thick attacked everyone. These tongues also have star-like fluorescence. And these fluorescent lights have a certain degree of toxicity. If they are not detoxified within half an hour, they will turn into a puddle of thick water. However, after all these years of alien invasion, the antidote that can cure Xingdian poison is almost available. Lu Chu immediately rushed forward. When he lifted his clothes, the clothes burst instantly, and his entire upper body swelled a bit, and at the same time, it gradually turned gray and earthy. Su Yu looked at Lu Chu's muscles and felt a little emotional. In his previous life, some people would say that these muscles must have been drugged. While Lu Chu blocked the first wave of offensive, Peng Si and Xie Wei also launched an attack on the 3-meter-sized first-grade star-spotted frog. 3 large nets and 3 long arrows attacked the first-grade star-point frog at the same time. At the beginning of the battle, Song Qingwan took out a short silver stick from his waist and swung it lightly at her. The short stick began to change in an instant, stretching one by one, and the topmost part unfolded to form the tip of the spear. Su Yu blinked, and Song Qingwan rushed out dressed in white and holding a silver gun. At this moment, he sighed from the bottom of his heart, it's so handsome. As if to help Su Yu and the others lighten their burden, Song Qingwan walked forward with a few spots on his feet. He also helped them cut off 2 star-pointed frogs. Immediately afterwards, the silver spear hit the disgusting sticky tongue that was as big as a tree trunk. A touch of blue flashed in Song Qingwan's eyes. A chill passed from the spear, and the tongue of the first-grade star-spotted frog was instantly frozen. It even continues to extend to its whole body. Song Qingwan didn't hold back and fired several shots in a row. Every time he fired a shot, a place on the frog's body would be frozen. Seeing that the timing was about right, Song Qingwan turned to look at Su Yu. Su Yu immediately understood, and at the same time cutting off a tongue with the dagger, he catapulted towards the direction of the first-class star-spotted frog. People come to swords. The dagger slid down around the star-pointed frog's neck. The extremely ugly head of the star-spotted frog fell down. In addition, the 4 people who hadn't finished killing 10 ordinary star-spotted frogs were all stunned. Isn't that a little too easy? After solving the first-class star-point frog, Su Yu took out the camera from his pocket. Song Qingwan saw that there were still a few star-spotted frogs that hadn't been dealt with, so he dodged a few silver lights. The rest of the star-spotted frogs were all silent. Seeing the girl in white holding a gun with one hand, she looked calm. The 4 of Peng Si were stunned. They also felt that giving up 50% of the loot and battle damage contribution value was a bit of a disadvantage for them. Now it seems that several of them are obviously soy sauce. To deal with this first-grade beast, the girl alone is enough. Song Qingwan put away the spear, looked at the 4 of them and smiled faintly. This star frog just broke through. That's why it's so easy for me to deal with it. If I give it a little more time to digest the strength brought by the advancement, I have to deal with it, and I have to work a lot. The 4 nodded numbly. On the other side, Su Yu, who had known Song Qingwan's strength for a long time, was focusing his camera on the star-pointed frog. With a click, the last film of the day was used up. Congratulations to the host for entering the illustration book, Star Spot Frog Rank 1 Exotic Beast and get Blood Reward plus 10, Fixed Reward and Strength Attribute plus 100. Close black lens bracket. Cumulatively recorded in the Strange Beast Illustrated Book 2/10. Close black lens bracket. Does the host receive the reward now? Close black lens bracket. Putting away the 100 plus attributes brought excitement, Su Yu replied calmly in his heart, I will not receive it for now. Raising qi and blood by 10 points in one breath is enough to cause a very obvious change in his qi. There is also as much as a third of the strength increase, which also takes time to master. It is obviously not the right time to receive rewards at this time. After taking the photo, Suyu called other people to come and clean up the scene. Soon everyone distributed the spoils, and the corpses on the scene were cleaned up. I don't know if Song Qingwan's strength is too terrifying. It was the four of them rushing back to school to submit their homework. They parted ways without much communication. The four of Peng Si followed the map back to the city and moved forward quickly. Lu Chu didn't understand and said, "Speaking of Peng Si, when we meet such geniuses, shouldn't we invite them for the school?" I remember that during the holiday, the teacher specifically mentioned this matter. Lu Chu's words attracted the four people to look at them like fools. Do you think that with Song Qingwan's ability, if she is willing to go to our school, would our school dare to accept her? Our school dares to accept it, so will other schools agree? A few words from each of them made Lu Chu blush, so he stiffened his neck and said, "Then Suyu can do it too. I think he is quite suitable for our school." This time, no one spoke much. Judging from the performance just now, Suyu's actual combat level is indeed within the admission range of their school. Of course, having such a young tactician is also a huge plus. Peng thought for a while, and still said quietly, "You may not believe it if you tell me. I also felt the fluctuation of supernatural powers on Suyu. And I feel that it is roughly the same type as Song Qingwan's ability. Even if it's a little bit worse, it's not much worse." After the words fell, Lu Chu didn't speak anymore. Everyone hurried on their way with their heads buried. The four of them were really hit when they entered the wilderness this time. Even the joy of completing the final homework is not much. Suyu looked at the line of his personal contribution, which showed that he participated in killing a first-grade beast, and the corners of his mouth rose. At the same time, he also obtained permission to enter the sea-level area. Suyu opened the wristband and smirked at the personal panel. Song Qingwan quietly came to his side. "Don't even think about entering the sea-level area. As long as you run over there, I will definitely knock you out." The smile on Suyu's face stopped suddenly. Dangju patted his chest and promised, "How can I find death and enter the sea-level area? Student Song Qingwan, please rest assured. Before I become a warrior, I will never take the initiative to enter the sea-level area." Hehe. Song Qingwan expressed deep doubts about this. "Is there any more to go on?" she asked. Suyu shook his head. "I said that I am very self-aware, and I have already participated in killing the first-grade strange beast today, so I can go back." Hearing this, Song Qingwan nodded in satisfaction. The two pulled out the map from their wristbands and started to rush back. On the way, Suyu asked curiously, "Qinghuan, where did you buy that long gun?" Song Qingwan said apologetically, "I can't give you Suyu now." A black line appeared on Suyu's forehead. What does this girl mean? She made it seem like she was asking for something when she opened her mouth. "That's not what I mean it's really cool that you hold that long gun." Song Qingwan's pretty face flushed slightly. "Really? The spear was awarded to me by the principal for being in the top 3 in the city's joint entrance examination 5 times in a row." Suyu stopped talking and hurried on his way with his head buried. "My old Su, I haven't even been in the top 100 of the school, and I have even unloaded the principal's tire. It's better to stop thinking about things like spears as soon as possible." It took almost an hour, and another Asakusa yellow-eyed rabbit was encountered on the road, and Song Qingwan took care of it casually. When he went out to the wilderness to be inspected, the brother soldier who was in charge of the inspection saw that Suyu's personal information showed that he had participated in killing a rare beast, so he took a second look at him. "Wait until Suyu and Song Qingwan walk away." Another soldier brother approached and asked, "Boss, this Suyu is quite powerful. How about an 18-year-old low-ranking tactician who has the ability to participate in killing first-rank beasts? Shall we try to recruit him into our Northwest military region?" The man shook his head. "Don't worry, observe and observe. You must know that the girl who went into the wilderness with him is called Song Qingwan. He is now one of the geniuses that Tianyuan City is taking care of. It is said that the last training camp, a group of geniuses from Tianyuan City worked together to kill a third-rank alien beast in Area C. Hiss. Is that girl so fierce? Several soldiers around gasped. The leading man nodded. So I don't know if it's Su Yu's own ability. They should come tomorrow. When the time comes, send a follower to take a look. If you really have the strength, we naturally can't let go of such a genius. I heard that the chief is also fighting for Song Qingwan now. If we win Su Yu over by then, the relationship between the two of them may be a bargaining chip. As he said that, the leading man still added, but these are not important, the most important thing is that Su Yu himself has that strength. Otherwise, if we invite this child, we will also harm this child. Got it, boss, I'll follow them tomorrow. Thanks for watching, please like and subscribe.